Welcome to my imaginary car. So, one of the things that happens when we're driving is that we drive for too long, and the next thing you know, when we get out of the car, what happens? We're in a little bit of pain, right? Oh, my shoulders hurt, or oh, my hips hurt, or when I get out of my car, oh, knee pain. Let's try to get rid of it, right? When we're driving, one of the things to think about is how much do I turn my foot out to accelerate? Let's try, instead of turning it out, try to push straight forward, or maybe pull your seat up a little bit closer to your head of having to reach your leg all the way out there and just use your ankle. You can actually use the muscle of your entire, or the muscles of your entire leg. Those are one of the things if you feel like you have a stiff ankle. Working up from there, how often are both your legs in the same position while driving? This depends on whether you have cruise control or not, or a manual car or automatic. But how often are you sitting on one hip in comparison to the other, so that when you get out of the car, maybe your hips are unlevel? That's another thing to consider. Moving up to the low back. Do you have lumbar support? Some cars have it, some cars don't. Sometimes you need to pull in, maybe I like to roll up my small coat and put it in there to help me get lumbar extension, so that way when I sit, I'm not dumping and rolling my low back, and in turn the front of my body gets super tight. That's another thing to consider. So when you're sitting upright, how are you moving? Are you dumping? The same thing applies for how much you're reaching for your steering wheel. So when your seat is back, right, you have to reach for the steering wheel a little bit further than as if you were closer. This also depends on like how close your steering wheel sits down, how long your legs are, how round your legs are. You know, if you have muscular thighs, maybe your steering wheel doesn't want to sit in your lap, so also take that into consideration. Another thing is how often or how long are you on one side for? So if you're maybe leaning against the window and you're driving with one side, well, when you get out of the car, over an extended period of time, this shoulder might end up higher and this one down lower, which can throw things off in your upper body. Another thing, the last thing is how often, you know, like your hands move while you're, I know they say like 10 and 2, but like sometimes you gotta stretch those puppies out every once in a while. I know mine gets a little tired after driving for an hour, like, this sucks. So stretching out the wrist, it doesn't have to be while you're driving, but maybe when you get off at the rest stop. So I know that some of this isn't always feasible. Stretching in a car isn't exactly the best thing to do, but there are things to think about while you're driving, and in order to help prevent those, we should maybe prevent them in the car. But if that's not possible, doing exercises after we get out of the car to help counteract what just happened. Things like hip stretches, hamstring stretches, ankle circles, shoulder rolls, being able to stretch our neck a little bit. Hopefully that helps with maybe some pain that you might be hopefully this helps with some pain you might be getting while driving. If you have any questions, let me know.